In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can make $10 million starting as a level 1 player in GTA Online. Before we get into the guide, I want to quickly say that I already made a video on how to make your first $2.2 million. So while the first part of this video will be going over that same information, if you want a more in-depth guide into it, make sure to check out that video linked in the description down below. But with that being said, let's get into it. So starting as a level 1 with $0, the first thing you'll want to do is head over and grab a random car off the street, take it over to Los Santos and sell it for a few $1,000s. Once you've done that, you're then going to head over to the casino, purchase a membership for $500 because they're going to give you a free 5,000 chips. Also, if you head over to the exchange desk and claim your daily chips, that will then bring up your chip total to 6,000, which you can exchange for $6,000. If you're feeling lucky, you could go and spin the lucky wheel. You could possibly win money, RP, or even a car. Now that that's done, we're then gonna head over to this icon here on the map. This is a stash house. You're able to do this kind of event once per day, and on your way there, make sure to pick up a pistol from an ammunition. Once you get there, all you're gonna do is break into the stash house, take out all of the enemies that are in it, and then search the area for a 3-numbered code, which you will use on the safe in the stash house. Inside the safe, there will be some documents you could take. Once you've taken those, you will then earn about $30,000 cash. And in similar fashion, you could then head over to this icon here on the map. This is G's Cash. Once again, you could do it once per day. And essentially what you're doing is searching a certain location for a box. Once you find the box, you could then pick it up, claim the items in it, which is usually going to be about $20,000 or so, and you're going to get free ammo and snacks. And now that we've done all of that and you're somewhat familiar with the map, we're now going to start up the dual action revolver treasure hunt. At this point, you should have received an email, and that email is going to show you a picture of a certain location on the map. I'll leave a link in the description down below showing you where all the locations are for all of these images, but once you find that first image and find that first location, it's then going to send you on a 3-part treasure hunt. For each, you're going to have to go to a specific location on the map that will be denoted by a yellow circle, and in that yellow circle, you're going to have to find 3 different clues and investigate them. And once you've done that, you've investigated all 3 clues successfully, you're then going to be given a location to a treasure chest on the map, which once you go to and check out and investigate, you will find the dual action revolver. But this isn't just any regular revolver. This revolver comes with a challenge. If you complete 50 headshots, you will earn a bonus of $250,000. In order to complete the challenge quickly, I usually suggest going down to the downtown part of Los Santos or over to Vespucci Beach, where there usually are a lot of people. And now that that's completed, we can now spend a little bit of our money to help us out with our future money-making methods. So the first thing you're going to do is purchase one of the garages, the cheapest garage you could find in the city. If it's not free for you, it's going to be about $25,000, as well as I would purchase a special carbine rifle, and I would also get the Duke of Death for free off of the Warstock Cash and Carry website. Once you've made those 3 purchases, and I highly suggest changing your targeting settings to assisted aim, you're then going to head over to the yellow R in Blaine County on your map, denoting Ron, to start up the first dose mission. This mission is going to start a 5-part storyline where there's going to be 5 different first dose missions, and after completing each one of them, you are going to earn a $50,000 bonus on top of about the $10,000 to $20,000 you'll make for completing the missions in general. Now, last week I did release a guide on how to make your first $2.2 million, and in that video I went further in depth on some things that will help you out for these missions. So if you need some help with them and you want a more in-depth guide, make sure to check out that video linked in the description down below. But for the purposes of this money grind, you're actually only going to complete the first of these first dose missions right off the bat. That's going to earn you about $60,000. And we're only doing the first one right now because once you complete the first mission, you're then going to unlock the ability to call up Dax and request work, which will allow you to do Fooligan missions. These are essentially simple contact missions, but each time they will earn you $50,000, and they usually take about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. They do have a 48-minute cooldown, so you can't do them back to back, but that is why we wanted to do the first dose mission right away, so that we could start doing these Fooligan missions as quickly as possible. Once you've completed that first Fooligan mission, make sure to set a timer for 48 minutes so that you know when you'll have to do the next one. And then from there, make sure to do the second, third, fourth, and fifth last dose missions before doing a Fooligan mission once again. And then right after that, do the first dose missions finale. Now, like I said before, all of these missions are going to give you a $50,000 bonus for your first time playing through, except for the finale. The finale will get you a $250,000 first time bonus. So in total, we should be making about $500,000. Once that is complete, you're then going to start up another treasure hunt. This time it is the Navy Revolver treasure hunt. In order to do so, you're going to have to go to 5 different locations on the map that each share a clue to a serial killer in the game. Once again, I'll link in the description down below a video showing you all the clues and areas that you have to go to. But of course, once again, once you completed this treasure hunt, you will then receive a text message from the Sandy Shores slasher, who is the serial killer. And once you get that text message, you'll then have to head over to the airport in Blaine County between the times of 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. If you're there between those times, the Sandy Shore slasher will randomly appear. You'll have to take him out, and once you do, you will be rewarded with $50,000 and the Navy Revolver. And once again, just like the dual action revolver, you'll then be tasked with completing 50 kills with the Navy Revolver, and if you do it successfully, you will earn an additional $200,000. Now, once you've completed that, it should have been once again about 48 minutes to an hour, so do another Fooligan mission, and then you're going to start up the last dose mission storyline. This is part 2 of the first dose mission stories. Now, once again, these missions are fairly straightforward, but I do suggest checking out the video that I made last week in the description down below, because I did go further in depth for each one of these missions. Now, the best part of these missions though is the fact that unlike the first dose missions where we get a $50,000 bonus each time, you will actually get a $100,000 bonus for completing each one of these last dose missions, and there are 5 in total. So complete all 5 in order right away, which will take about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and then do another Fooligan mission. And with that, we're now closing in on the first $2.2 million that we need to make. And this is an important number because once we hit that 2.2 million, everything becomes much more straightforward. So the first thing you're going to do once you've completed that Fooligan mission is to start up Flight School. This is a set of aerial challenges that will not only make you better as a pilot, but it will also earn you a decent amount of money. For each one that you complete, you're going to be ranked either bronze, silver, or gold. And depending on that rank that you receive, you're going to earn a certain amount of money. Of course, if you do end up getting gold on everything, you will earn close to $250,000. But as you can see here, I didn't get gold for everything. I just went through my first time and just took the result that I had, and I ended up making about $150,000. So right away, it's some good money. That whole process will probably take you about an hour and a half. So once you complete that, once again, do another Fooligan mission before getting into our final treasure hunt. This final treasure hunt is, of course, the Stone Hatchet event, where we are going to be in contact with Maud, a character in game, who will give us 5 separate bounties that she wants us to either bring back to her or to take out. You'll have that option. I suggest taking all of them out as it makes things faster, but you will have to complete essentially 5 assassinations, and once doing so, you will be given a location to a treasure chest on the map once again, and at that treasure chest, you will acquire and unlock the Stone Hatchet, which is a melee weapon. Just like the Navy Revolver and the dual action revolver, they will give you a challenge of completing 25 kills with it, and once you do so, you will make $250,000. And with that, you will have made your first $2.2 million in about 7 to 8 hours time. And like I said, this is a crucial number because it is the exact amount that we need in order to purchase the Kasaka submarine, which is the next thing you will do. The Kasaka submarine is a business that allows you to do the Perico heist, which is the best money-making method as a solo player or as a player in general in the entirety of GTA Online. In order to acquire the submarine, you'll first have to go over to the music locker on the opposite side of the casino, go through the cutscene there, and then you could purchase it for $2.2 million on Warstock Cash and Carry. Once that's done, head over to the business and start up the cutscene there so that you can do your first ever Perico heist. Now, once again, I will leave my full Perico heist guide linked in the description down below if you want to see the best and fastest way to do it, but there are a few things that are different for your first time playing through, so here's what you need to know. When you first arrive on the island, you're going to be put at this beach party, and you're going to have to find a way out. At a certain point, after a certain period of time, one of the guards will move away from the exit. You'll then head over to that exit, and you're going to want to run through a very specific path in order to get to the front of the compound that you have to scope out for the heist. The most key part of this path is going through the little gated area here. As you can see on screen, all you have to do is wait for the person in the watchtower to finally look away. Once they do, run through the gate and then run over to the right. Once you've done that, you can then make a beeline for the yellow dot on the map while also avoiding all guards. Once you've done that, you'll then be directed to head over to the communications tower, which is right at the center of the island. Head over to it, get up to the top, and you will find a signal box which you'll have to complete a simple mathematical puzzle to unlock. Unlocking that box will allow you to see all of the different security cameras on the island, and you're gonna have to go through each one, scan back and forth with the cameras so that you can see all of the loot and all of the entry points available to you for the heist. Once you've done that, you'll then have to scout out a few additional things on the island so that you could do the Perico heist in the best way possible. So when you're on the communications tower, head up to the very top of it, look in this direction here. As you can see on the map, we're going to head down to what's called the main dock. So from here, you could jump off the communications tower, take out your parachute, and fly your way down. Once you get to the main dock down there, you're going to want to take a picture of the dock itself on your phone and send it to Pavel. Doing that will unlock it as an entry point, which is very crucial for completing the finale of the heist. From there, you could actually take one of the dinghies that is in that little dock and drive over to the base of the compound on the other side of the map. Once you drive close enough to the base of the compound at that cliff, you will then see in the bottom left-hand corner that you've also unlocked the drainage tunnel as an entry point, which is once again another crucial piece of info to have for the finale. And finally, you will be prompted to scout out a few more things over at the North Dock, so make sure to just follow the instructions there before eventually going over to the airstrip and taking off back to Los Santos. Once that is done, like I said, I highly suggest checking out my full guide linked in the description down below, as I'll show you how to go through each of the setups and more importantly the finale in the best way possible to make the most amount of money. But for your first time through, because you're not paying any fee and because your guaranteed loot is the Madrazo files, you should be making about $1.4 to $1.6 million for your first playthrough of the Perico heist. Now, completing all the setups and the finale will most likely take about an hour and a half to 2 hours if you're brand new to this, so in this time, make sure to get in another 2 Fooligan missions while you're at it. And with those 2 things, you should have made about $1.7 million. But there is something very important to note, because on your first time playing through the Perico heist, if you complete a few challenges like doing the Elite Challenge, getting full loot bags, and your first playthrough, you're actually going to earn quite a few money bonuses. And you will see here on the screen that I actually went from the $1.6 million that I made all the way up to $2.3 million. I earned about $600,000 to $700,000 just in these first time bonuses. So right away, you're going to be put over the $2 million mark at least. And with that $2 million, the next thing you're going to buy is an agency. The cheapest one goes for $2,010,000, which is a bargain because this business is by far the second best business in the entire game. And that's because the agency gives you 3 great ways to make money. Now, the first one is to do security contracts, which is simple contact missions where you're making about $30,000 to $60,000 each time. You will have to do one to unlock everything else in the business, so make sure to complete that first one. But once you've done that, you'll then unlock the VIP contract, which is the Dr. Dre contract, essentially a large heist that pays out $1 million at the very end. So you're going to want to get right into that as soon as you can. In order to start the process, you'll have to head over to the yellow F on the map at the golf course and start up the first cutscene and first mission, where you are essentially playing bumper carts with a couple of grown men in golf carts. Once that mission is complete, start up your second security contract back at the agency. And once you've done that, you should have received a call from Franklin letting you know of a second setup mission for the Dr. Dre contract. This one requires you to go into the FIB building. It's very straightforward, don't sweat it. It shouldn't take more than 5-10 minutes. And once those two missions are done, that is the last time you have to do them for the Dr. Dre contract. We'll get into the rest of the contract here shortly, but right after completing that second setup mission, make sure to go and complete your third and final security contract. And the reason for doing that is because once you complete 3 security contracts, you will unlock the third way to make money with the agency, which is doing payphone hits. They are simple assassination missions that shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to complete. And if you complete the assassination while also doing a bonus challenge, you can earn $85,000. So before starting up the rest of the Dr. Dre contract, do your first ever payphone hit. Once that's done, head back to the agency and start up the first part of the Dr. Dre contract, which is the first leak. Now, the way the contract works is essentially we're retrieving back stolen music for Dr. Dre, and there's been 3 leaks of the stolen music. Each of these leaks will have 3 missions within it, essentially 2 setups and 1 finale, almost like you're completing a heist to get back the music. In order to maximize your money with the Dr. Dre contract, make sure you do a payphone hit once again after each leak. Each of these leaks will most likely take you 20 to 30 minutes to complete, and payphone hits have a 20-minute cooldown, so it works out perfectly. In addition to that, because it is your first time playing through, once completing each one of these leaks, you will also earn a $100,000 reward as a first-time bonus. Now, these leaks and missions may be a little bit complicated, so once again, I will leave a link to my complete guide in the description down below if you need some more help with them. But once you've completed those first 3 leaks, you'll then unlock the final 2 finale missions, uncovering the mastermind behind the whole operation. The first finale, once again, will take about 20 minutes to complete. So once you've done that, make sure to do another payphone hit, and then you can head into the true finale where we bring Dr. Dre, Johnny Guns, and receive a reward of $1 million. Now, like I said, after each one of these missions, the first 3 leaks, as well as the first part of the finale, if you want to call it that, you will earn $100,000 each time. So that's $400,000 right off the bat. But not only that, you'll also earn an additional $250,000 for your first time completing the Dr. Dre contract, meaning that in total you should have earned about $1.65 million for your first time playing through the Dr. Dre contract. And if you followed my lead in my guide and you did 5 payphone hits along the way, you should have put yourself well over $2 million. Now, this entire process will likely take you 3 to 3.5 hours for your first time playing through, and in that time, I hope that you guys have done at least 2 more Fooligan missions, but if not, start up your next Fooligan mission now, and that is because we want to end up completing a total of 10 Fooligan missions for our next purchase, which is the Acid Lab. This business was unlocked when you completed the first dose storyline. You were able to start up a setup mission to unlock it, and once you've done that, you could then purchase it at the Acid Lab from Mutt for $750,000. The way the business works is very simple. All you gotta do is purchase or steal supplies, and then Mutt will create product in your Acid Lab from those supplies that you could later on sell for a profit. So really, your only involvement in this business is getting the supplies, letting him do all the work, creating product out of it, and then eventually selling the supplies for a profit. But in order to make sure it's as efficient as possible and we make the most amount of money possible, you will have to complete 10 Fooligan missions so that you can unlock and purchase the equipment upgrade for an additional $250,000. And once doing so, you could then purchase supplies for $60,000. You'll have to do that twice over a 4-hour time span. And after 1.6 batches of supplies, you will then have a fully stocked acid lab, which can sell on for $335,000 in a private lobby, or up to $500,000 if you sell in a public lobby. So right away, you're making some great money. Now, the acid lab makes some great money, but I don't even suggest doing it right away. What I would rather have you do is go right into another Cayo Perico heist. Now, the reason why we didn't do these back to back is because it does have a 2.5-hour cooldown. So doing the Dr. Dre contract in between is very important. And on the other hand, the Dr. Dre contract also has a 48-minute cooldown. So it's always best to play these back to back. So what you'll do is first go back into another Cayo Perico heist. The second time through should make you about $1.3 to $1.4 million. And once again, it'll take about an hour and a half to complete. And then once again, complete another Dr. Dre contract, which will earn you $1.1 million this time, take you about 2 hours to complete, and also do the payphone hits in the meantime, getting in at least 5 payphone hits while completing the Dr. Dre contract. And once completing those two things, you should be at the $10 million made mark. Congrats, that is a huge grind. You should have about $3 to $4 million cash to spend on whatever you like, but you now have the Kasaka submarine, an agency, an acid lab, and a few other things that you picked up along the way. Now, like I said, you could spend that $3 to $4 million however you want, but if you want to make some wise purchases, I always suggest buying other businesses. A couple that you may want to look into is first a nightclub. A nightclub is a great way to make some passive money. There are quite a few guides out there on how to make money with it. You could also get the auto shop, which allows you to do a bunch of different, essentially mini heists that each earn you a few $100,000 each time. Or you could be spending it on something like a Sparrow, which is a helicopter that you could get with a Kasaka submarine that makes the Cayo Perico heist a lot faster. So there's tons of things you could spend your money on. You could even buy a couple of them depending on how much cash you have. So let me know in the comment section down below what you've bought. I hope this guide has helped, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.